on to the biomechanics of gripping. Now, in biomechanical gripping, we're going to be looking at positions of mechanical advantage. The first thing that we're going to discuss, if you can come close, I want you to look at the monkey grip. Monkey gripping a jacket is grabbing up top with your thumb. Now, grabbing here is quite easy to displace. If Scott just merely grabs my wrists and pulls away, it's the strength of my thumb. That was a good demo. It's the strength of my thumb that's holding the jacket encased in my grasp, right? But look at the construction of the hand. The largest associated muscle group is to the pinky. This is the strongest finger in your hand. It may be the weakest integrity-wise, but it has the strongest associated muscle group. So when grabbing the jacket, begin with the pinky. The thumb is auxiliary. It's not even necessary. This becomes placed on top. This way, your grasp is each knuckle has the cloth encased in it. This would be associated to when we worked on fisticuffs. When you do actually strike someone, it's with each joint completely compressed so that you have one solid cudgel to beat him into bloody mass. The same thing with your grasp. Grab from the pinky and work each joint into the cloth. Now, if Scott grabs a hold, it's going to be virtually impossible because it's encased in here. There's nothing he's going to do to release this grasp, this death grasp, on his jacket. Grabbing in on each joint. Now you can play your fisticuffs as you pull the jacket awry. So, you grab a hold of the jacket, grab pinky first, and wrap underneath as you grab a hold. Work on this with your partner so that each knuckle has cloth encased in it. Next, this gooseneck. Now, the standard overhook, you're grabbing a hold of the neck and you're trying to control his neck, right? Problem. Scott merely needs to pop this arm up to remove it. Look at the construction here. If I grab, focusing on this monkey grab, with my thumb and my forefinger, all I'm doing is contracting my bicep to try and pull him over. There's nothing keeping me in place. Let me turn to this angle. However, if we look at, again, the pinky, we have this big cudgel wrapped in the cloth. Grab a hold with the pinky from the bottom, bring your elbow in and down. This is going to be, even if he advances, what's going to keep him at bay. Wrapping this underneath so that you have the tendons wrapped around the force vectors. Force vectors here, shoulder rolls over, displaces them. Force vectors into his solar plexus, there's nothing he can do to move around the place that we have established with this gooseneck. I'll go back to this angle. Now, underhook, traditional underhook. We're trying to control his shoulder because we want to execute our techniques. Let's look at it from context of hyperfunction. How do we cause his body to do what it naturally wants to do? Don't try and control him muscularly. Roll your shoulder over towards him so that now you have this encased. The shoulder's entrapped. Shoulder rolls over to keep him in tight. Don't try and keep him out here where he can manipulate your force vectors at a longer distance. Roll your shoulder forward. Roll your shoulder forward into your grasp. Next, wrist grab. How many times have we seen this, right? If someone grabs your wrist, you move against the thumb, correct? Simple enough. We've all discussed this. We've all seen it. Since this is a master's level training guide, you should all be pros. However, we're not monkey gripping him, right? We're not. Grip him from the pinky first. Wrap the flesh in the grasp and place the thumb on top to control. So your grasp is from 4, not from 1. In tight. So as he tries to pull away or screw away, you have control of his appendage, the force vector. You're not trying to keep him from moving, you're controlling the structure. If you want, there's a nice little, you can dig that pressure point in, but we won't do that. Too late, right? Now, two-hand grab. I can't believe some of these are still taught. First is this finger cup. The finger cup depends upon the strength of your fingers. so that if I grab a hold of Scott here, and he merely inflates his chest and rolls his shoulders back, already the strength of my fingers cannot withhold his expanding thorax. This is not sufficient. It's not an efficient hold. Second, even more lunatic is the finger lace. Well, now it's individual fingers that will submit to his expansion here. So the finger cup, all the fingers here, and we have the finger lace, which is each finger is going to submit to the expansion in his chest. One last one, what we're not going to do, we're going to look at it from a biomechanical or a force vector perspective, is this raw grasp. Here, what is the weakness here? What is the position of mechanical disadvantage? Come on, visual cue. It's the thumb. So if he expands, it's the thumb. It's the thumb that's the weak point. If you grasp here, even though I'm probably bigger and stronger than Scott, he's working against the weakness in my grasp, right? So my hands submit to his expansion. There are all kinds of funky maneuvers that Scott could be doing, but this is the most basic, and it portrays the fact that if you work to cause hyperfunction, it's not going to hold. I'll give you a clue. This is known affectionately as a Gordian knot, but don't look at it from a technical perspective. Look at it in terms of force vectors. Here's your little butterfly flying away, nice and pretty. Put the meat of your palm to palm. Don't include your thumbs. From here, what have you done? You've connected the force vectors.
If he tries to expand, it tightens the grasp. It tightens the grasp on both force vectors because the forearms are running into each other. As he pulls, it pulls tighter. He's facilitating the grasp. And
you may crush him in your burly arms. But the point being, look, connect the force vectors. This is your tightest grasp.